Record. Mic trigger.
So now it's Charles's turn. Oh dear. To do a Tales from the Vaults. So take it away, Charles. Right. So the time we went to Wales. You want me to do the whole trip? Bloomin' heck. How long have you got?
9:28 p.m.
A good hour, at least. Right, a good hour. Okay. So we were going to Wales well, it was in my mate's car at the time, and I drove part of the way there, and he drove the whole way back. And usually it would get to a weekend, and we would take our motorbikes up. But I was going with a mate from the Joiners, and he didn't have a motorbike. That was why. So the guy from the Joiners, he didn't have a motorbike. So we had bicycles, we had mountain bikes, that was it. And he didn't have a mountain bike. He had a rally BMX, right? I'll tell that story as well, because that's funny. So this was a guy called Walter Shiggins. Now, Walter Shiggins. Now, his wife, she was only a short little thing. She never went anywhere. You know, he came for a weekend, and he'd come like back halfway through the weekend, but this was the only weekend that he stayed for the whole weekend. I mean, I think she bloody had him after this. But anyway, we took our tents and we packed everything up in this small little car. When we went in separate cars, we were going, because we used to go, like, when we were on the motorbikes, we used to go up like a convoy, you know, every weekend. And, you know, we'd go to Wales, and we'd stop in Wales, and we'd do all kinds of things. We get absolutely drunk, and, you know. But this one weekend, I was driving up. So we ended up down the side streets. Even though there was a motorway, it was, this would have been 88, 89, so just a couple of years after I'd left the plumbers. I had no job. I'd worked in a cafe as well that week. So I did work 5 days, you know, washing dishes, and it got to the weekend, and the boss let me off to go to Wales. And his boss let him off to go to Wales because he was an electrician. He was an electrician, this guy, this Walter. He was I tell you what, he was a right character. And so he knew, we both knew, we always planned. And what we did was, we'd go up and we'd drive all the way up to the service station, and we'd have a breakfast. We never had breakfast, and that's the thing, we hadn't had breakfast, right? So we'd drive up to the motorway services and we'd have our breakfast. But, right, that never happened. And so that's another story. So we're driving along, and I'm driving the car. I'm driving this Austin Allegro. That was right. Everything was an Austin Allegro, right? And oh gosh, it was an Austin Allegro estate. Now that was an awful car to drive. You know, it felt like, oh man. I mean, you had backache just driving 20 metres up the road. Anyway, we're going up this side street and anyway, I thought, oh, we're a bit low on fuel here. We're a bit low on fuel. And I says to Walter, I says, we're low on fuel. I said, there's a farm 20 metres up the side street, right? Gets up the side street to the end, turn left. The farm was closed. The owner had basically, he'd gone off. He was in the middle of selling the land.
Yeah.
So his wife came, and she said, oh, don't go. She said, what are you lads after? I said, some petrol if you please, and whatever. And I says, some eggs and bacon and that, and we'll make our own breakfast, because we had frying pans and the like, and we were going to get our camping stoves out and make the breakfast on the farm. Or, well, we were going to set things up on a field, and she goes, oh, you mustn't do that, she said, you must come in. And we went in, and she made us the biggest breakfast: eggs, bacon, sausage, beans, black pudding, hash browns, fried bread, toast, black pudding. Oh, an absolute feast she put out for us. So we sat down, and she said that she was, the house and everything. And she said, oh, I'm sorry about the petrol. She was really apologetic. Oh, I'm really sorry, lads. I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. She said, I'm really sorry you missed your breakfast and that. And she says, where are you travelling? And we said, oh, we're going up to Wales. She said, oh, Wales, So she goes, oh, you must stay here when you come back. She said, you must call back here. Because she told me in the house. I said, okay, because I said, we're going up for the weekend. Anyway, so it was getting up to 2:30, 3 o'clock. So I said, come on, Walter. I said, we need to go, And she'd packed us. She'd said, yeah, here's some petrol. And she said, wait a minute, lads, wait a minute. She said, have you got room in your car? I says, why? She brought this hamper. And gosh, there was everything. Tea, coffee, beer, sausages, rounds of bread. She must have given us a month's worth in that hamper. But anyway, so we set off with petrol, and we're fed and we're watered. And by the way, there was no mobile phones. So we'd lost the others. And I said, oh, we'll get to the side street. And when I see a telephone box, I'll telephone our Alfie, because he was in Wales. I says, hey, our Alfie, is one of our lads up yet? Alf, and he said, well, he said, well, Jonas is up. And I said, right, okay. I says, well, tell him to wait on us. And I said, tell him to wait in his van, because he took his van up. He always had his van. And anyway, he was going to meet us halfway down on the hill. He was actually going to meet us He was going to meet us at Conway, because we were going up to Conway, and we were going to stop off before Conway. So we went up, and me and Walter, by this point, we'd stopped off about 5 or 6 times, for Walter wanted to smoke and stretch our legs, and it was usually we rushed up there on our motorbikes. We rushed up there, we only had about we'd stop off at a cafe and have breakfast, and then we'd go down, and then we'd get to a pub and whatever, and then, the next and we really, but it was in our cars, and I thought, I was like, but I'm not doing this again, And so Walter goes, do you want me to drive? I said, no, and I'm in a bit of a huff at this moment. I said, because I just want to get there, Anyway, we end up in a traffic jam, and the car in front of us had smoke coming out of it. So Walter goes, whoa, we'll tow him. With what? We had no rope to tow him with. Well, we did, because Walter always had a bloody tow rope in his boot. Anyway, he got the tow rope out, and we were towing this fella along. I said, where are you off? And he says, I'm going to Liverpool. Anyway, we decided that we'd about turn and tow him back. I says, if there's a phone box on the way, I'm jumping out, because I need to make a phone call to our lads up in Wales and tell them what's gone on. So I phoned our lads up in Wales, told them what's going on. I says, tell Alf to head back. I said, because we'll meet our Willie up in the pub, and you can meet us up when you're ready. And Alf, okay, well, Alf was heading back. He said, right, Alf didn't know to head back. So anyway, our Willie had also broken down. Oh my gosh. But he got someone to tow him into the town centre to get. Anyway, he ditched his car in the town centre, and he got and he just jumped. I think he met Alf up somewhere, and they were both of them were in that van. And I'm telling you something. Anyway, we'll get to that. So, Willie and Alf are in the van. I've got phoned off, and I got back in the van, in the car, in the Austin Allegro, and we're towing this fella along. And I thought, I can't do a U-turn here because we're on a busy road. So we're going all the way back. I thought, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll tow up to that side street, and I phoned the lady who had the farm, and she got onto somebody, and we waited until the blooming tow truck came, and then we let him off there. And and she came back out with more bloody petrol, and oh gosh. Anyway, we headed back off for Wales, and I thought, right, no stop-offs, right? It was getting on for time, because the day was getting on, so you can imagine how things were getting on. So I got up to about 3 or 4 o'clock, and we got to the halfway bit. So now the way I went, I was about to hit a toll road, and there's no way you could, back then, there was no way that you could dodge it. There was a toll road leading up to Conway, and this is about 5 or 6 o'clock, and everybody and his dog's on this bloody on the road leading up to the toll road, and get onto the toll road. And I said, right, how much have we got? And Alf goes, are we going on a toll road? He said, yeah. He says, tell them this car's a company car, which it was. Because back in them days, company cars, if they got to a toll road, they got discounted. Yeah. He got absolutely bollocked for that as well. That's another story. So we got on this toll road, discounted, and Oh gosh, then we're going along this toll road. Anyway, it gets to Conway. Hey, we're in Conway, all the rest of it. And then we managed to get into Wales, and this van flashes us. Oh, bloody hell, and it's Walter and Willie sat in the van. And, you know, they're going, "What's the trouble, boys?" And we're saying, "Oh, you know, you don't want to hear it really." You know, we told them, and so they took us up. And we got to a pub which isn't there now. It's actually a public house. It's called it was called the Swerfs. Swerfs Inn, but we nicknamed it the Square Inn, and we went there, and the people who own the pub let us stay the night. And oh gosh, what mischief we got up to there. Anyway, we found where to park our cars to leave for the weekend because we were gonna, you know, go on bikes. And we're all mountain biking around on these mountain bikes we had. And poor Alf on his BMX, and you know, we're all, you know, Alf's sort of like chugging behind on his BMX because he had no gears. And anyway, we got to this place, tents and everything, and Alf's got all the bloody whiskey bottles and that. Anyway, he gets up to his farm, pisses a fart, and ends up with this racing bike. And I says, "Where's your BMX, Alf?" And he goes, "It's back at the pub." He'd loaned this racing bike. Well, actually, that racing bike got sent to him that year. I can't remember the story. There's another story to that. So we're all off on our bikes and that, and Alf's trying to like, you know, I thought, we'll you know, wish he was on his BMX or whatever. And we get to this pub, and this lady knew Alf, didn't she? It was one of Alf's ex-lady friends was there, and oh gosh, it really, I didn't really want to be seen with him, but we got back. Not Alf, Walter, sorry. Walter and Alf. Bloody hell. Well, there's a story about Alf, actually. Alf broke up with his missus on the Friday when he went up. So him and Walter had a punch-up over this woman. Oh my gosh. On the set. Oh gosh, you couldn't write it. Had a punch-up and everything. And then this other girl, Mavis, I think her name was. She was to be honest with you, she was a bit of a dog's dinner, this Mavis. She really was. And she was a right piece of, I won't say. It's not nice to talk of ladies in that manner. And she was she was a lady's maid, you know. And she she was a lady's maid. And anyway, there was problems with her and that, and we went up to halfway between Anglesey and we went to Prestatyn. And oh God, the amount of issues we had in Prestatyn. But then we met some people I knew, and me, Walter and Willie and Alf, we and this other lad, we decided we were going to have dinner, and we went to this manor house place, and oh gosh, we had the best dinner ever. But we got absolutely drunk, and then we ended up in a hostel the following night, and we lost Willie, but that's another story. We lost Willie, and then Walter and me. Walter wanted to stay an extra few days at this hostel because he knew a couple of people there. So I thought, well, he can't really, because he shouldn't have paid full board there and everything. He shouldn't have paid, he's paying 40 quid extra. So we had an argument over that. And I said, so Alf decided he was going to come back for Walter. Well, I said, well, we'll stay till the Tuesday. So I telephoned this woman, the farmer's wife, who we spoke about in the beginning. They had this house, and I said, will he be there on Tuesday? And she says, oh yes. She says, we'll have sold by then, but she said, she gave me an address of where she was moving to, and I said, oh yeah, I know that farm. But it meant I had to go through Liverpool to get back. So anyway, so me and Walter stayed till Tuesday. I said I agreed to stay till Tuesday and no further. So Walter's absolutely hungover by this Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll leave at, the latest is going to be 12 o'clock. So I said, right, Walter, you're getting a good breakfast down here, because I was going to make him drive back, which I did. But Walter being Walter, only drove part the way back. He got us out of Wales, and he got us out of Conway. We had a massive argument, obviously, about him driving the car and me punishing him, but I drove most of the way there. And well, he did drive he drove when we got to Conway, he drove. And all the rest of it. And he drove when we were towing and all the rest of it. But I drove most of that, and I thought, he's going to drive most of the way back until we get to Southport. And then I'll drive. Well, actually, we got just out the way. We were going up this motorway, and Walter got us lost. He got us lost. And so I said, yeah, Walter, I says, I'm having all this, you get out of the car. I dragged him out the driver's seat. I pushed him into the passenger seat. I got on the driver's seat, got in the car, turned the car around, got us back on the motorway, somehow, don't know how we did it, and got up to the side road, which I knew, straight down the side streets, drove all the way up to Liverpool, and we stayed on this farm till an extra couple of nights. Oh my gosh. And then it was all right because there was a lad called Bevan, so I drove his car home, and so yeah, it was a very good weekend. And then we did it again the following weekend. It was just me, Alf and Willie. Oh no, we did take Walter because we went in the van. And that's when I nearly got pushed in the ditch. We drove the van into the ditch. We drove Alf's van because he had this van, and we drove it into the ditch, and then he threw my tent into the ditch. Oh my gosh. And then Walter was having his wicked way with this woman in a barn. Oh my God. So yeah, it was good fun. But we did those, I mean, we had good fun in those days. We really didn't complain about much. We went swimming in some quarry. We drank a lot of beer, and we had a massive fight in a pub. And then Walter smashed the whole bloody place up. That's not why I fell out with Walter. I did fall out with Walter not soon after that, but they were the good old days. I wonder what's happened to Walter, or... Well, he got dementia, bless him. So for more of these tales from the vaults, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Beans World 77. Yep. And our Facebook page, facebook.com/BeansWorld77. I've not changed I've just put it in the description of the videos. I should actually put it in the channel bio. Thing. But anyway. And we're doing good at the moment, folks. We are doing good. Anyway, I'm working on 4 videos at the moment. I've made a post about it. Maybe you should do a podcast for this channel. Yeah, maybe I should. Anyway, bye for now.
One notification. Finish recording.